What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah, and you're watching this video on Sunday, March 8th, 2026 at 10:50 a.m. MST. And each week here, I keep thinking there's no way that God's gonna do it again, and he just keeps doing it over and over. At this point, I'm not taking bets against him, but just wondering, like, how long can he keep this up each week? He just keeps blowing my mind here in season 7. As I started editing last week's video, I noticed that we were coming up on an even 900,000. I love it when I hit those even numbers. So I started a screen capture, and as I began editing, chopping up pieces of the timeline, moving stuff together, and merging the video forward, I kept an eye on my screen capture, and as I came up to exactly 900,000, I threw a marker into the timeline. And then as I went back to then start doing graphics and music and color grading and all of that good stuff, I took that clip and threw the spot where it hit exactly 900,000 into the timeline, which you saw. As I then started to prepare for this video, I had been going back to rewatch the Right video that I had posted with my cousin Josiah to try to get insights of what was it that God else said to me in that prophetic word. What was it that then he said in the video then that I posted for back in 2022? And as I jumped into that video, I remembered that the exact same thing had happened in that video. Now, like I said, whenever that happens, I throw on the screen capture function on my phone, and it's just running forward. And as I'm editing, I'm just watching as it goes up. And then as it hits that exact spot, wherever that's at in my edit, bam, I hit the marker button. Now, I went back and I looked, and with the video that I posted from last week, if you extract out the time that I just sit there looking at my notebook and go from the point of when I say, "What's up, fam?" to the time when both of those are posted in those two separate videos, they, by my calculation, are only 1 second apart in the timelines. It's either at 1:36 into the video or 1:37. You guys can go back and look at that video and try to figure it out yourselves, but it's so ridiculous that in the video that I posted about right part 2, that in the video then back in 2022, that God would so time that it would roll over to 7 million exactly. Friends, that is so ridiculously crazy, because here we are into the first few episodes of season 7, and that God did a thing back then in 2022, and that the world population rolled over to, I think it was 7,927,000,000 exactly in that video that launched season 3, and that it would turn over to 7 million exactly. And that then when I discovered that right is the basis of my son's name, Jamin, who was born on March 1st, and I do tons of first things with my cousin Josiah. It's getting ridiculous at this point. And that in that video that I would again notice that it's coming up on an even number rollover, that I would do a screen capture, and that as I was merging forward into my video, that it would be centered at almost the exact same spot in the video. That in and of itself is mind-blowing, but what's even more mind-blowing than that is if you take, I'll get my monitor here, if you take 7 million and you divide that by 900,000, you get 777,777. 8 sevens followed by an 8. Well, of course it's 8 sevens. It says it right there, and I'm posting this video for you on Sunday, March 8th. I'm telling you guys, I, at this point, feel like I'm going to be stuck in this space forever, which I don't mind. I love it when my dad flexes his muscles. But as I went back and I listened to the start of season 3 and the declaration with my cousin, that I declared that love never fails. And then there was this entry. I'm just going to read it. The goal of learning is not certainty, comfort, and control, but rather is the resourcing of adventure to be able to courageously confront the unknown with more and more confidence. Eric Hofer, I think it's Hofer, maybe Hoffer, Eric Hofer, whom I have quoted often, says, "In times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists." Learning is the action of learners, and learners are those who lean into the unknown out of a relish for seeing mystery relinquish revelation through discovery's joy held hostage by confusion and complexity. If that isn't a phrase. Learning reduces confusion and complexity into clarity and simplicity, and provides greater and greater confidence to forge ahead into the chaos and crisis of the unknown. Learning does not lead to comfort and a lack of struggle. It gives the aged learner courageous vision to forge boldly into the unknown for the sake of joy's reward. The one who wills to do the will of the Father will know concerning the doctrine. Have intimate knowledge. Love it. Jesus received the reward of joy after the sufferings of the cross. Jesus didn't get to know this joy until after the cross. Peter didn't get to know what walking on the water was like without getting out of the boat. Faith exercised does not anesthetize you from pain or risk. Faith begets faith and empowers one to confront the unknown with greater confidence. Increased faith empowers one to engage bigger and bigger steps of faith with a confident expectation of good. Learning empowers leaning. Walking is a controlled fall. It is intentional destabilization, disruption of equilibrium with a plan in place to recapture balance. Walking is the fluid synergy of balance and instability as vantage points towards movement. Think of it like pillars being erected and then destroyed through a valley filled with alligators that you must land upon and then jump from, that are continuously being erected and then raised in systematic succession. And if not timed perfectly, you will fall to your death and be ripped to shreds by ravenous reptiles below. Who knew that walking was so intense? It would stand to reason that with the stakes so high, one would most likely want to be highly proficient in the dynamics of this forward movement, waiting and unwaiting, waiting and then leaping, restraining and releasing, erecting and raising, and yet this is walking. Being an adept learner empowers forward movement in greater and greater contexts of risk with joyful confidence. One person moving forward in this is complex, but the orders of magnitude and complexity that increase with the inclusion of more people is incalculable. However, the learner is glad of the opportunity to lean into this curious complexity. How is it to be done? Faith and learning empowers leaning into impossibility with confidence. They arm the mature with armor in pursuit of a more. Love covers over, clothes, and empowers a pursuit of the impossible with a confidence of failures complete in capability. Being that love never fails, it is impossible to fail when moving within love. The only reason the servant with 1 talent failed is that they stepped out of love. Had they remained in love, burying their talent would have led them to being further perfected in love. The man with 10,000 talents missing would have remained on a throne of ruling rather than chained in a torture chamber had he remained in love. It is impossible to fail within a context of love. This learning empowers aggressive leaning. Friends, I'm leaning into faith with God further than I've ever leaned before. And the further that I get in this adventure, as I defined in the beginning of season 3, the more easy it is to lose my focus on the main point. That in my video starting season 3, when it rolled over 7 million exactly, pointing to 7777777, posted on March 8th, 8 sevens, the perfection of God, saying, are you paying attention to what I'm doing, Elijah? I'm paying attention. I got you. I can see the 3D movements of what you're doing. That the declaration was in that video that love never fails. And that as I remember the Father's word to his older son, that he said, son, you are always with me. The end. The Father went on to say, and everything that I have is yours. But the point is that he said, son, you're always with me, and therefore I am always with you. I have to keep my eyes focused on the fact that as I progress forward, that my inheritance is the Father. Who have I in heaven but you, Father? The Father is my inheritance. And as I move forward, that in reaching out for all of you, fam, it would be very easy to get distracted by results or a lack of results or rubrics or subscribers or clicks or any of the other things that I dream of and all the small details of Extraordinary Life with Elijah, and forget that my Father is my heart's desire. And in him, as he stays the main focus of my heart, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. Seek to please the Father's heart through the exercise of my gifts, and that is all. That in that space, I can't fail because love never fails. Even if I get to this space and I have no subscribers, everybody walks away and abandons me, and I've made all of these videos as a result of leaning into the Father to learn more of his love, I won't fail. As I wrote this down, that it reminded me of my cousin's words to me, that he said that he saw this path. He said that it's got like rhythm to it, like when you're walking on a gravel path, and he's like, and it's soft, but you can't roll on it. You can't ride your longboards. That longboarding is something of my past. I had to put it away. That it was something of a younger era. Like Paul said that when I matured and became a man, I put younger things, immature things behind me and pressed on into perfection. That I'm not merging forward on mechanisms and machinery, but moving forward in love with people in a we disciple us context. Now, as he started then to unravel that more, he said that it sounds like it's gravel, that, if you fall, it's going to be soft. And that as I began to then think about all of these elements of this movement of a balanced equilibrium, that intentional unweighting, and then waiting, and erecting and raising, that this process of walking forward in faith with God is merging forward in a context of we disciple us. But as all of this unfolds, and it's so beautiful, it's so comfortable, it's so comforting, that I thought of the fact that in Psalms 139 that we've been quoting so much here recently, it says, "How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand." Walking in the truths of God, the multiplicity of ways that he expresses himself in a bajillion truths, small particles as numerous as the sands on the seashore, that all those many truths and ways and thoughts of sand are not the same as standing on the rock of ages, which allows me not to be shaken, that the one who builds his house upon the rock will not be shaken. It's been so beautiful for me to merge forward in this time of right, and that Josiah challenged me from a prophetic word from the Father. Blessed is the one who pursues me. You have been blessed, you are blessed, and you will be blessed. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face, his countenance, his fatherly love to shine upon you and give you peace. So beautiful. And so the reminder for me here on Sunday, March 8th, 2026, 7777777 of God acting in perfected timing, pointing the way to Elijah. In me, love never fails. Build your life upon the rock. Enjoy the journey of walking forward with and in the body, hearing the rhythmic move it forward on this pathway of faith as you lean into what I've given you to do. But don't forget who ultimately you're pursuing. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you as well, which are you, my fam. If you subscribe to what I am doing, then hit the button, hit it, and then hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. Pray blessings on our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I will see you in the next video, which starts now. And I think, oh, Josiah, I love doing life with you, man. I think it was so beautiful going back this week and watching the video start of season 3 and just reliving the emotionality of seeing that your destiny will lead you to your destination, that it's established and firm, and getting to see that we had set something in the future and that we were on a path and that I was speaking those things over you, but we were living them by faith in that moment. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. Love never fails. It's impossible to fail when walking in love. What up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And this week, Jamin and Philip are my extra, and I am the ordinary.